Indeed, Scott. You think about the Negro League Baseball Museum in Kansas City, and I've got Bob Kendrick with me, the longtime president, the best-dressed man in the ballpark, the most eloquent man. Bob, it's good to see you.
Hey, it's great to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
You just got back from Cooperstown, but you're going back this summer for a most special day when Buck O'Neil gets inducted finally into the Hall of Fame. What will that be like for you personally?
Oh, it's going to be very special. I'm sure it's going to be highly emotional. It was for me when we got the word that he had gotten in. I was overcome with emotion because I was reflecting back to, at that time, 15 years prior when he missed by one vote. And now the verdict goes our way, and you wish that you could celebrate with him. We wanted to high five, chest bump, hug our guy. We won't have that opportunity, but you can rest assured that his spirit will be very much present, as he would like to call, as he would always call Cooperstown, in the valley when that induction takes place on Sunday, July 24th. I can't wait. I am over the moon excited.
You referenced 2006 when 17 Negro League individuals got inducted into the Hall of Fame, but not Buck O'Neil. How did he handle that disappointment?
A whole lot better than I did, you know, and it was, I think, one of Buck's finest moments in a career that was filled with great moments. Perhaps his finest moment came in defeat. The way that he handled the disappointment of not getting in, to the point where he was encouraging all of us to not be angry, to not be bitter, not to express any ill will toward anyone who had something to do with that decision. And so I reflect on the day that I had to tell him, and subsequently we had all these folks gather at the museum, and he walks in that room and he literally wraps his arms around the entire room and says, "It's okay." Instead of us consoling him, he's consoling all of us in one of the most amazing displays of strength of character that I'd ever witnessed.
Well, we all lost so much in 2020 with the pandemic. It was going to be the 100th anniversary celebrating the Negro Leagues, and that really took a hit. How have you tried to overcome that loss to keep this message and this museum on the forefront of baseball people's mind?
Well, it tests your mettle. There's no question about it. I was speaking earlier this morning, and I was telling the group that as a steward of this story, you know you're not allowed to wallow in self-pity. But man, I'd be lying to you if I told you I wasn't doing some wallowing after all of these wonderful plans that we had for this epic celebration, 100 years of the birth of the Negro Leagues. We believe one of the most significant things to happen, not in baseball history, but many would say in American history. Yes. And we were seeing this fall by the wayside. But at some point, you have to dig down and grasp that resilient spirit that drove the Negro Leagues. They never cried about the social adversity. They went out and did something about it. You won't let me play with you in the major leagues? Okay, I create my own. And so you know you got to summon that from somewhere. And we were able to somehow turn a spirit of doom and gloom to renewed hope and optimism. And we've been building on that ever since. And now with Buck O'Neil going in the Hall of Fame, we really have an opportunity to do some of the things that we would plan to do in 2020 that we'll be able to do now, that will hopefully drive Buck's Museum into an even heightened position in the future.
One more for Bob Kendrick as Benintendi takes a walk. We're in Kansas City. Satchel Paige was a Kansas City Monarch. What's your favorite Satchel story?
Oh, there are so many of them, but one that I really enjoyed telling here recently was a story between he and the great Whitey Herzog. And so Bill Veeck had brought Satchel back to pitch for the Miami Marlins in AAA. The year is 1956. Now, if you believe that Satchel was born in 1906, this would make him 50 years old. Well, the old man is pitching highly effectively at that time. And so they're playing in Rochester, New York. And so a young Whitey Herzog was on that Miami Marlins team. He's an outfielder. And so they're in Rochester. The Rochester team has a knothole in the outfield wall. And they had a promotion that said, if any batter hits the ball on the fly through the hole, you could win $100,000. Well, it was virtually impossible. But Mr. Herzog says he's out in the outfield jogging. He decides to take some baseballs with him because he wants to see if the ball would actually fit in the hole. Well, there's just enough circumference to squeeze that ball through the hole. He goes and gets Satchel. He said, well, Satchel, you know, you're always bragging about how great your control is and how you could throw baseball over a chewing gum wrapper, which was the honest God's truth. the catcher would sit the chewing gum wrapper on top of home plate, Satchel right over the top of that chewing gum wrapper. He says, I bet you a bottle of old granddad bourbon that you can't throw a baseball through that knot hole. Well, Satchel had a nickname for everyone. His nickname, famously for Mr. Herzog, was Wild Child. He said, Wild Child, will the ball fit? Well, Mr. Herzog shows me just enough circumference to squeeze that ball through the hole. He says, Wild Child, I'll take that bet. Mr. Herzog says he steps off 60 feet, 6 inches, put down the pitching rubber. He's going to give the old man 3 tries to throw that ball through the knot hole. He says Satchel takes the baseball like a hunter is looking through the telescope of his rifle, and he measures. And the first pitch goes in the hole, but spins back out. He says he's in freaking disbelief. But he's saying to himself, there's no way he can get any closer. The very next pitch, right through the hole. Satchel reaches down, picks up the bottle of bourbon, and says, Wild Child, I'll take that. And saunters on off into the sunset. Oh, there'll never be another Satchel Paige.
No, there will not. There will never be another Bob Kendrick. Bob, thanks for stopping by.
Oh, thanks so much for having me.
Wonderful conversation, Scott. Thanks for allowing us to interrupt a little bit in that inning.
Yeah, every time we win the game, it's important for us, you know. We come in here every day and try to do the best we can do to win the game.
Do you enjoy legging out triples?
I think my last triple was in 2017, so yeah, it's kind of fun.
This offense at times has shown some abilities to break through. What's it going to take for you guys to really kind of find that next level over the next month?
Just continue to play hard. I think every time we come into the ballpark, concentration, try to see what the pitcher has, try to do our best in the home plate.
The thumb can't feel great. I know you don't want to make excuses. What does it feel like? How long will it take for maybe that to finally heal?
Yeah, I think every time, if I continue to play, it's going to take a little bit of time, but I feel good with my body. Just a little pain sometimes when I chase the pitch down away, but besides that, I'm good.
It can be fun, though, right, as a catcher with a hand or a thumb?
It's, you know, sometimes a little hard, but I love to be behind the home plate every night.
What is your message to these young kids on this team? There's so much young talent. Obviously, there have been some bumps on the road. How do you keep them positive? What do you like to tell them?
Play hard, concentration, show up every day, you know, do the best, prepare yourself for a big game.
Congratulations. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, sir.
Salvador Perez. You heard him say just a little bit of pain, and maybe it's bothering him more than that. But again, the results have been there over this last homestand. That smile is infectious. A happy Salvador Perez and a producing Perez at the plate, guys. I will say it again. It's going to go a long ways towards helping this Royals team pick up a lot more wins going forward than they have enjoyed over these first couple of months.